Hi, this is Tim from Sound Effects Premier up in Ormskirk. Tom Quayle.
Hello.
Having a look at a new Boss pedal. This is the VB2W. This is one of the Waza Craft pedals, which essentially is Boss's sort of custom shop boutique analog pedals. And this one is particularly a throwback to the past. The VB2 has existed previously. Boss had it kind of back in the early 80s. It was on the shelf for quite a while. They discontinued it, and now it's one of the highest trading pedals on eBay, etc. The old ones, people will pay a lot of money for these. So if you don't want to do that, you can now get one back again. So it's an analog pedal. Let's say it's part of their Waza Craft lane using bucket brigade technology. This is a really cool pedal, and it's got some switching on it that allows you to have the sort of the old school and then a modern version as well.
Yeah. So I guess we should plug it in. Have a listen to how it sounds.
I think we should do that very thing.
Absolutely. Okay, so we've got the VB2W, so the Waza Craft VB2, in effect. Running through this brand new Blues Cube. This is the smaller Blues Cube, really, really cool amp. I'm using this Fano guitar from Sound Effects Premier. Now, what we've got here is we're just going straight from the VB2W straight into the amplifier, and our bypass signal, and I'm on the neck pickup, sounds like this. So, the actual VB2W, if you come down and have a look at the pedal on the floor itself, we've got rate, depth, a rise time, and then a mode setting. Now the mode setting we'll get into in a little bit because there's various different ways that we can set the pedal up to operate. But remember, it was bucket brigade chips that we did, or bucket brigade kind of sound that we're dealing with here. So it's a beautiful, warm, analog sound. All I'm going to do, I've got the pedal set up just to a kind of vibrato sound I liked the sound of. And we are in, I'm going to put it in the standard mode. So this is in the VB2 mode, the standard kind of VB2, that sought after vibrato sound. And I did that just by switching this little switch, S and C, across to S. Now if I turn this on now, check out how warm and lush this sounds. Very, very nice, sweet, warm, analog sounding vibrato. Really, really cool. So, the rate control does exactly what you'd expect, okay? And I can actually control the depth by an expression pedal. So we'll get into the depth in a second. But the rate does exactly what you'd expect, as I say. So if I increase the rate, we obviously increase the rate of the modulation for the vibrato. That gets you slightly into kind of more Leslie's kind of territory, so that's great for kind of like walking bass blues. Really cool. It's got kind of quite an extreme rate setting, but it's still very, very musical, so that's brilliant. Now, if we decrease the rate, bring it all the way down, just to give you kind of some of the range of this. It's not all the way down, but it's almost all the way down. This is what we get. Again, super lush sounding, very wide kind of sound, really, really classic. It's got that VB2 vibe to it, definitely, so you can get that vintage sound really, really easily. So we'll deal with the depth control. Now I can either use the control itself, and because this is a Waza Craft pedal, you've got really nice textured controls here that feel really good and they're really, really smooth to operate. If I increase the depth all the way, obviously things get a little bit crazy, kind of underwater sounding. Let's just bring the rate down. So this is not too extreme, but this is how wide the actual vibrato gets. So it's good for kind of groove-based stuff. Really, really nice sound. It adds that kind of, let's say, John Scofield kind of vibe to your tone, which is really, really useful. Now I can also control that. I've got a Roland EV5 expression pedal here. So if I back that off, I can get much more subtle sounds. So it's cool because I can bring that in for certain chords if I like. So I could have... offers you another level of expression, which is great. Okay, so if we use the rise control, I've set that all the way up with the rise time. Basically, that's going to mean that when I switch the pedal on, the vibrato effect itself is going to rise and kind of swell in, so the actual amount of vibrato and the speed of the vibrato. So check this out. If I play a chord and then hit the pedal, so it took a moment for the intensity of the effect to rise, and that's really useful in combination with the mode dial. Now the mode dial itself has a few different settings. We've got unlatched, bypass and latch. Now that seems a little confusing at first, but unlatched basically allows us, if I switch to unlatched, it's like a momentary setting. So basically that means that when I push down on the pedal, the setting, the effect comes in, and as soon as I let go, the effect is gone. So I can apply it to just a chord, say for instance. So if I bring the rise time down to kind of standard in the middle there, I'm going to hit this chord, hit the pedal, and then let go, and you'll see the effect comes on and then off immediately, what we call momentary operation. Really useful. Again, you can get similar effect to what we did with the expression pedal, but if you don't have an expression pedal, you can use this instead. Similar kind of idea, that's really useful. Now if you use that in combination with the rise control, you can obviously press the pedal down and it will rise in, just like a Leslie speaker going from slow to fast. Really, really useful effect. Okay, now the bypass mode, if we switch to bypass mode, this is what we had it in for the duration of the demo so far until we switched it to unlatched. Bucket Brigade chips can add a little bit of latency to the signal when they're bypassed. Most people, myself included, don't really kind of discern that latency too much, but some people will, and a lot of people like to have that, the ability to bypass the Bucket Brigade chip in the signal while the pedal's in bypass mode. And this bypass allows you to basically turn this into a true bypass pedal, where the Bucket Brigade chip is removed from the signal when the actual pedal is in bypass mode. So it's obviously engaged at the moment the LED is on. As soon as we switch through here, we've got a totally transparent signal path. Okay, whether you want to use that is entirely up to you. Personally, I'm not too worried about the latency, but you might find it's a problem for you, so it's nice to have that on there. And that's what you get with kind of a Waza Craft pedal. You've got that kind of operation choice. That's really cool. So in latch mode, this is just standard operation. The Bucket Brigade chip is in all the time, even when it's bypassed, so the signal is running through there. And as you can hear, it's not like a major problem. Here's the signal. I'm not noticing masses of latency there, but as I say, some people might. And this is just on-off latching mode. So I switch the pedal on, and we get this. Permanently on until I switch it off. Switch it off again. Just the kind of bypass signal, but the Bucket Brigade chip is still engaged. Okay, so the final thing I want to show you is this custom mode. Okay, so in standard mode, which is this S and C switch that we've got just here, this is like the VB2, the original VB2, but this being a Waza Craft pedal, there is another mode, this is the custom mode. This has got a unique kind of modulation waveform built into it for the vibrato, so it's a slightly different sound. So here's S, let's switch the pedal on. Now to really kind of heighten this so you can hear the difference, the depth is quite high on the pedal, and we've got this. I'm going to let that sustain and then switch over to C so you can hear the difference. Now obviously the biggest thing that you notice there is the modulation is wider and it's a bit fatter sounding. Now this setting with the depth this high, it's a little bit kind of too much for most people. Although it's kind of cool, again, for that kind of groove thing. It's got a certain vibe to it. If we bring the depth down, let's bring the rate up a little bit, we get this. Really cool, very Leslie-like. Really, really cool. Okay, so what we'll do now is we'll hand back to Tim and bring this demo to a close.
So that was the VB2 Waza Craft from Boss.
Yes.
On the shelf soon. Thank you very much again, Tom. Good insights, good playing as always.
Thank you.
This will be on the shelves very, very soon. This, as I mentioned, is a prototype, but it'll be out there soon. Thanks very much, everyone, from Sound Effects Premiere.
See you later.